Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dugout Mug Studios. This is the Variety Sports Network, and this is the seventh inning stretch.
And we are live here, seventh inning stretch. Edwards, it's good to hear that introduction. Back at it there. I like it in full swing.
Last week was bad, man. I had to do better this week.
You're back at it. You're motivated. You have passion, the energy, the desire. What we say, 58 days away from spring training, whatever it is, making it up. I don't care what it is. You can, whatever day it is, we are getting closer. And as you can see, we got the guys from Ohio Sports Talk and Tyler McGurk. Let's not forget that. We led the myth, the man, the legend himself there with the show. Boys, Doug, I know Jordan's been a long time since we've had it. I hope you guys are doing good out there. We got some Reds talk. Like you said, you got a lot of teams doing well.
Yeah, we're heading in the right direction. We're headed in the right direction. This Reds team will be interesting, guys. Darren, I appreciate you having us on. Josh, it's always fun to get in here and mix it up with you. Tyler, I've been a big fan of the Tyler McGurk show for years now. I'm glad you kept that going.
Show that's never been.
If you ever need anything from me, again, just reach out. I would love to be a part of the Tyler McGurk show. So, Jordan, we just had a big time episode. I love you, buddy. Let's have fun talking some baseball here, man.
Yeah, we couldn't get David on. We couldn't get Mr. Stearns on. Sorry there, Aaron. We couldn't get him on. We just he's a little busy with Pistol Pete out there signing with the Mets. There with it. Edwards, we got a lot to get into tonight. Obviously, you got your division. That's where we're going to start. We're going to get into best first baseman. And of course, we'll hit on some other stuff around the news, around the league as well. But NL Central is the first division we're going to start with. Kind of like when I say preview, it's also kind of an overview of what kind of happened in the offseason. We'll kind of hit the teams here, get you out in a little bit here. But like NL Central, that's the first one that came to my mind to talk about. These are just some of my hit notes with the questions as I had, Brewers going for the third straight division title. Are the Cubs, Reds ready? That's kind of, and then can the Cardinals bounce back? It looks like they're going in a different direction. We'll hit on that. And can the Pirates always get to 500? Before we deep dive, kind of dive into each team a little bit, like you guys, Doug, Jordan, I know kind of how Josh sits on the division a little bit more than you guys. As Reds fans, how do you guys kind of look at the division headed into 2025? It feels open for a lot of teams. So and your Reds there too. So outside the homerness of that, how do you kind of feel with the division overall? Doug, what do you think of that? I'll go to Jordan.
I like that you said that, Darren. I thought the way I was going to view it is I would say the division is more open than, maybe years in the past where I think last year the Brewers were, those were the guys for most of the year. And this year it feels like there's opportunity for the Reds. Terry Francona, which we'll touch on, some, decent additions, things like that. I think there is opportunity here to be, competitive for the division. Maybe winning the division this year might be a step too far, but I think open is the perfect way to describe the NL Central right now.
Jordan?
You look at a lot of the acquisitions made, both for the division's coaching staff and free agency. So I'm glad the way you stated that as well. Very open. I think the NL Central is going to be a little bit of the wild, wild west this year. Especially, coming out probably in the first quarter of the season. A lot of these teams are a little bit neck and neck when it comes to roster hitting percentage and some coaching. But, our beloved Reds, made the most of hiring Francona, getting him out of retirement, getting some free agency, really going, getting an outfielder a little bit and tweaking our bullpen. So, I love the direction we're going. They're still young. Ellie Deli Cruz is going to be the face of the MLB video game moving
MLB
forward.
The show.
It's huge. MLB the show. That's right, baby. So I think the downside for the Reds is price goes up. But, I think that's going to be great for the team morale and stuff moving forward. But as a division, I think it's going to be a tight race.
Yeah, Tyler, let's kind of, as you kind of give your thoughts about the division here with it, what do you, let's start with the Reds a little bit.
Let this guy on anyway.
No. Let me give the Reds some compliment. I loved what they did in the offseason. Bringing in Francona, a proven manager, a great manager who's had success everywhere he's gone, whether that be Cleveland or Boston. Great move. Nick Martinez as starting pitcher is a good bottom of the end pitcher. You get Brady Singer, who has great stuff. He hasn't put it together yet, but baseball, it's all about hitting them in the right time. I love what Cleveland's done. And then getting Gavin Lux from the Dodgers, who signed a Japanese second baseman. So they have this little maybe we can give him away. He was a top prospect. He was supposed to be this guy. Once again, guys age, they get better as they age in baseball. Their primes are a little later than most sports. So I like what the Reds did. Now, you guys said this division is open, and I agree. I think that's because there hasn't been like a great team we've seen come out of the NL Central since the Cardinals' glory days.
Yeah, that's fair.
So Edwards, I guess we go to you with that. With the we kind of look at the Reds here too, but also kind of just your thoughts in the NL Central as we kind of get going here.
So I don't think it's going to be a tight race at all.
Mm.
I think it's going to be Milwaukee or Chicago walking away with the division this year. I think Cincinnati's going to finish third, and I think Pittsburgh and St. Louis are going to have a race to the bottom to see who can be the worst team. I think it's going to be a very interesting season. I think the Cubs have done enough this offseason to compete with Milwaukee up and down. I think Cincinnati is 2 to 3 years away from that, but with Francona at the helm and with the additions they've made and the development that they're going to continue to have with their prospects in the minors, the Reds are going to be a problem in a couple years.
Yep.
If I see a 500 season out of them this year, I'd be happy with that, and then I'd be looking for 90 wins next season. The Reds are on their way. They've got a GM in the right place, or they got the right coach in the right place. We'll see what the GM and the owner do. We've been very blunt about our feelings of how the Cincinnati front office handles the fans and speaks to the fans and how much we don't like it. So I'm hoping they finally made a good move and they let Francona do what he does best.
100%.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be as close as you guys do.
Really? So what's the big
86
separator for you then? For the Cubs, what's the big separator for you then?
Off-season moves. Potential. I think they have the most upside in the division.
And
Like,
do you
if
think that's
everything
gonna be
falls
like an-
together, I think the Cubs get the division, no question.
Interesting.
they'll be
Do you think that's going to, when you say like off-season moves, are you talking about overall, or are you saying pitching, hitting,
Everything.
fielding?
For me, it's the whole deal.
So the Kyle Tucker, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's totally fair. I thought, if the Reds, I'd just be happy if they're in that race this year. Like you said, a 500 finish to me feels solid. Maybe steal a game here or there and get maybe a little bit over it. But I mean, again, I don't think, I think I'm more excited about being competitive, getting back into that mix, and then maybe next year taking another leap. If they had went out and really went all in, and we've complained about this plenty, guys, the Reds front office, they suck. I mean, these guys fucking suck. Sorry, you don't like that. I'm sorry. But then they finally make the Francona move. And we're like, oh, whoa, maybe we're getting a little bit of a new leaf here. I thought they should have probably went all in on Roberts Jr. from the White Sox to really make that big time splash. But I think what you're saying is pretty spot on, Josh. I would just love to be competitive and be in that mix. And third place is, it's in the mix, but it's not the top two spots. So I think you're pretty close there. Competitive to me feels a little bit different just because of how bad they've been recently.
It's funny for me and Tyler. Obviously, we're in a whole different division that we both like, West Coast team. So we've always looked at it from afar, like a little coming, and like for me, I've always kind of been pro Reds just because I don't know. I've always liked their uniform. Like there's part of me that's always liked it a little bit, but it's not a division where I'm like overly invested in a lot of it as well. And it's always like, you have your bottom feeders in the Pirates, and then you have your Cardinals at the top, and then basically the Cubs are at the bottom most of my life, and the Reds once in a while will sneak in there. It's kind of just up and down. And now I think when you look at this offseason, it strikes me of a lot of my childhood, like where you had the Cubs make the biggest moves, and they never usually worked out. And then you'd have the Brewers or Reds be in there to steal it if they wanted, but then you always had the team that was the most consistent front office wise, and that's the Cardinals. And I think when I look at this division, Tyler, I'd like to get as like the Cardinals for the first time in my lifetime since the Mark McGwire era before that, where they just weren't very good, and then they kind of figured it out in the early 2000s. Outside of Mason Wynn and maybe a Walker, becoming a stud, like they feel like for the first time in my lifetime very vulnerable in this division. And like I think that if I was other teams, like the other four, I'd be like, okay, this is our time to have a little reign for 8 years. Like the Brewers got 2. Like, is there another team that can kind of like stick it out for 6 more years? Because the Cardinals just seem a little off to me in some areas, but we'll see how it plays out. But what do you think of that, Tyler, with that?
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Like, it's never been a division that's been entertaining outside of a couple Cubs years when they were hot. Because the Cardinals just ran through the division. They win 100 games, beating the NL Central 50 times a year. Like, to me, I think the Brewers take a step back. They lose a key player the last 3 years. they do have Jackson Trio, who's a great player, but they've lost 3 key players. And I just think that's hard to sustain and keep winning division. So I think this is the Cubs, who have great starting pitching. They shored up their bullpen. And then they add a Kyle Tucker, who could be a superstar in that stadium. But the Reds, this is as good as they've had since like maybe the Sean Casey, Pokey Reed. Maybe it goes a little earlier.
Brandon Phillips, Votto.
The
I would
Brandon
say some
Phillips,
of
Joey
those
Votto
early
years.
2010 teams were
Yeah,
solid. I mean,
When Buster
They're fun
Posey
to
hit
watch.
that grand slam in Game 5.
You knew that was coming up one time, boys.
But
You
yeah,
knew
when's-
it.
when's the last time
anyway,
you guys both sat through a no-hitter? Roy Halladay.
many no-hitters.
Blake Snell versus the Reds, actually.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. I meant a playoff
You
game.
brought it up,
Sorry,
Doug.
guys.
I didn't even
Jeez.
bring it up.
I meant a
didn't even-
playoff game. Jeez.
But I do think the Reds are the most intriguing team in this division right now. And I hate to say that with Doug and Jordan on the show right now. It hurts me.
Well, totally fair. Totally fair.
Before I get to Jordan on it, Josh, what's kind of your thoughts with the Cardinals kind of mix there? Part of it, what I was said about them, just kind of feeling like they've been dominant, and it just feels like a little okay with mediocrity for a little bit. What are you kind of taking with that?
Well, with this comment from Aaron,
Yeah,
this is where I will deviate.
Is that the Real Housewives husband?
I think the front office is lost. I think that we have I don't think Ollie Marmol is a bad manager. I think he's the wrong guy for the job in this position with this franchise. Although he has spent his entire professional baseball career with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's not even strong enough, good enough, smart enough, talented enough to maintain what he was brought up in and what he knows is the way the Cardinals were always dominant and a force to be reckoned with. This team, by Jim Edmonds' statement, the team has lost the Cardinal way. They don't want alum in there. They don't want veterans. Like Arenado made the rumor has it, and I'm going off 101 ESPN here if I'm wrong. The rumor has it that Arenado asked the Cardinals if they would get McGuire down here to work with him on his swing. That request was denied by the Cardinals. So it has been assumed, presumed, reported, and rumored that Arenado's been going over and working with Jimmy Baseball on his swing, secretly. So this. If that all ends up being true, and we find that out in the wash, yeah, the Cardinals are toast until Mike Schmidt comes back or TLR comes back, which ain't never happening. Or Yachty or Albert walk back into the clubhouse with Adam, and they rebuild the franchise from the ground up with what they know and what they believed and what they wore for so long. That's what it's going to take to fix the Cardinals. So Cincinnati, Chicago, Milwaukee, enjoy it while it lasts, because as soon as we get rebuilt, y'all are screwed.
Jordan, what's your thoughts on that with like the Cardinals there with it? Obviously, we can kind of know how you feel about the Reds, and then maybe you could touch on the bottom feeder in this division, the Pirates. Like, they have the most electric player, I would think we would say, in the division outside your boy. Outside like maybe those are the two guys that like kind of catch your attention the most. I'm just kind of curious how you feel about the Cardinals and then the bottom of that division for a long time, the Pirates.
I mean, we know the Cardinals are a little bit aging, especially when Pujols, exited the first time, kind of their decline of the roster. You look at that. They just haven't been the team that, I remember when Tony La Russa was running the team, and just how pissed I used to fucking get just watching him just Pujols had a 3 home run game. I want to say, what was it, like 2011,
like 4 times against you, probably, right?
Every time they played, like every game.
like every game, just being a fan, and honestly, those were games that like kept us out of stuff. So it just to see their decline, but that's natural of any dynasty. They're going to rebuild, they're going to reload, just kind of like you said. It's going to.
So they still fear you a little bit. Then they still fear you.
I mean, there should be, because we're division rivals, so there should be a natural fear of the Cardinals and their dominance. So I'm not going to take anything away from that. Just because they're kind of on a downward spiral for age and
That's fair.
money and contracts and stuff that they got to figure out. But that's the nature of the business. That's the nature of the MLB. You sign guys to longer deals than what they'll actually play in, and you kind of get towards the end of those contracts. And this is the natural progression of baseball. You get paid for what you've done, not what you're doing.
Fair.
So to me, I mean, it's just a natural progression of things. And to answer on Pittsburgh reminds me of the Reds like maybe 3 years ago. They got some electric players. They got some guys up and coming. They have a farm system that's overloaded, and they probably need to gut it a little bit and bring some veteran leadership in. Stop me if you heard this before on my own show talking about the Reds. But they're definitely a team that's got to make those steps. So maybe they'll mirror what the Cubs did next year, mirror what the Reds have done this year. Get some veteran leadership in, mix it in with the youth. Because that's gonna be the future of MLB. You have to have it can't be just all of straight veterans, winning rings left and right. You got to mix some youth in. The game's change. It's more athletic. Guys are faster. Yeah. And you just kind of got to get with the time. So I think Pittsburgh is probably 2 or 3 years away from being competitive with Cincinnati. But Cincinnati's probably I heard one of you guys say 3 years. I'm willing to bet maybe to even 2 years. I think Francona kind of rushes that. I think they're going to be surprised. And we know the MLB season is a marathon, not a sprint. So injuries happen, things happen, trades happen. So really, it's going to be who's going to be the healthiest team in the NL Central that I think is going to sneak up and take it.
The Pirates to me are well, just I think all week because of some of these NBA trades, and I've been just ripping on franchises that put no effort in. And the Pirates, you are high on this list of franchises that I would say have given zero effort in my lifetime.
Zero.
I mean, oh my gosh, Doug, Spencer Horwitz and Andrew McCutchen re-signed, and Adam Free. You get my point.
Brian Reynolds, around.
Whoa, yeah, big, yeah, we're really talking here. So I don't. That's where I'm at with it. I think as we kind of put start to put a stamp on this NL Central preview here to a few here is I kind of want to start the conversation with I do see your Reds as a player in this division. I mean, there's no reason they shouldn't be. I hate it. It's for me as a Raiders fan, Pete Carroll, we're going to take 3 years. 3 years, you're going to fire his ass in 2 years if he's not good. Don't give me this. You're waiting 2 years. You want results, not tomorrow, right now. You want results with them, and you have the team for it. Don't give me this.
Just promoted Marvin.
I just don't believe that the Reds don't have the ability to be good this year. So, Doug, I'm with you guys. You guys should be able to win this division. The Cubs have Tucker. I get it. But you guys have the pieces to be able to kind of make a little bit of a run here. You might get traded at some point, but I don't know. I don't know.
So to kind of go back to what you're saying there, I agree with a lot of that, but I also believe in giving your new manager some time, getting everything going together. Is Ellie going to take another step? Is he going to be able to cut back a little bit on the strikeouts and up the production a little bit more? I think the biggest thing here, while there were good additions, I think the biggest addition, Darren, is the team in itself of getting a Matt McClain back. Yep. Darren, Matt McClain is a really, really talented baseball player, a guy who hits the ball really well, is a very solid glove. I think getting him back is one of the biggest additions on this team. A guy who was competing for the NL Rookie of the Year with Corbin from the Diamondbacks. What is that? 2 years ago now? Whenever they were going for the NL Rookie of the Year, him to me is one of the biggest steps forward. Also, can Hunter Green take that next step forward? Can he get into that mix?
The pitching's there for you guys.
I agree, but
pitching's there.
But can Hunter Green be a Cy Young type competitor in the NL, which I've gone on record on your guys' show last year? I think he will be right in that mix with Skeens and some of those other guys in that top 3 pitchers in the NL. Can Brady Singer put it together like Tyler mentioned? Can Nick Martinez, be that fifth day guy who can, who wins, a couple more games than he loses? It's there. Nick Lodolo needs to have a bounce back year after dealing with a bunch of hand issues and things like that as the year progressed on. Another year to mature, to add more, weight, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things that have to happen but I do think pieces are there. The outfield is still a big question mark. Austin Hayes is an okay player. He's still 2 years removed from being an all-star. Things have got to fall the Reds' way. The outfield is such a big question mark. That's why I mentioned Luis Roberts Jr. or somebody like that.
Oh, that would be nice.
But they did negotiate. The Reds did negotiate. Nice. I didn't pull it out of nowhere. I wasn't.
No,
just,
I know.
They did try, but I guess the price tag was one of the highly talked about prospects in the Reds system. Which I'm all for prospects to a point, Darren. At some point, the big ball club has to play well and win games too. So how long can you stockpile, especially with the Reds, who think that every infielder in the world has to be on their team? It's just the infield is just overstocked with talent. So something has to change in that regard for me.
I'm not going to
maybe you guys can call up St. Louis and we can trade you one of our overabundance of outfielders and you can throw us another infielder.
Hey, we've got plenty. We've got so many.
How do you feel about Lars Nootbaar?
I think the facial expression said it all.
He is on the MLB's projection. He is the starter for the most underrated right fielder this year in the MLB.
Most underrated right fielder. That is a hell of a title to have.
I know.
That's the kind of
I gotta see.
That's the kind of guy you want to have.
I got to see where that's coming from.
MLB Network. It's on their website.
They'll go 30 deep on MLB. So, Doug, before I go to Tyler,
it might have been ESPN. I think.
If you had, I'm not going to hold you to it. You guys still have a lot of shows left on Ohio Sports Talk. Do you have a feel for is it Cubs one for you right now? Is that like where you're leaning?
Yeah, I like I said, I think the Cubs. If things don't progress the way I believe are possible, I think the Cubs would be one. I do think we with the Brewers taking a step back, like Tyler mentioned, they've lost good players year after year.
Big Nestor in the tree. Crafty left.
Trading Devin Williams was interesting. I don't know. They've lost a lot of good players, like Tyler said. I think they take a step back. I expect Ellie and McLean to really be good this year. So.
All right.
I think we're in the mix.
All right, you're in the mix, Cubs. Tyler, where do you kind of see this division if you kind of look at it about a month and a half out?
I like the Reds, to be honest. The top of that rotation with Hunter Green. We talk about the most electrifying pitcher in the NL Central. Hunter Green could be right there. He could be the 1B in that.
He's a stud.
His stuff is unbelievable. And then I think the key is Nick Lodolo because he has that nasty stuff, but he just has trouble finding the strike zone at times. He gets inconsistent. If he can figure it out, you have those two at the top. The lineup is pretty set. It's a little streaky too, but the pitching, if you can put it together, I think Lodolo is the key to this whole thing. It'll be a race between the Cubs and the Reds. I give a slight advantage to the Reds with Hunter.
Yeah.
I think to your Lodolo point, if that guy could just control a slider, that guy's got one of the best. It's like at some points the catcher's probably carrying his left arm out, reaching for a ball once in a while on his pitches there. Jordan, where do you see it? Obviously some timeout, but where do you kind of see it laying? The same as Doug, or where do you go with it?
I see the Reds finish in second, and I only say that because of my statement earlier. It's a marathon, not a race. It's 100-plus games, and I think the Reds this year, under new management, we stay healthier. We sneak into that second spot. We kind of one step ahead of the Brewers and just right behind the Cubs. So I got the Reds finishing second in the division.
Do you think the Brewers – I think the Brewers – we haven't spent a lot of time on them, Josh, but just to kind of be fair with them, Tyler's right and you guys are right. They lost studs the last 3 years, but the one thing with the Brewers, they do get Woodruff back this year. Who was a good pitcher for them a few years. We'll see if he can bounce back, but he did have a whole year off with the injury there. So they do get him back. That's been in Cy Young conversations. And what was the name? The best prospect they have, the best player they have. Give me his name again. Sorry, I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, that guy is a stud. I mean, that guy's a bona fide superstar. He's not going to be on the Brewers his whole career. We know that. And this guy, so and I think the Brewers do have the pieces. They have the consistency in the division where it's easy to just shun a team like that off because they had lost it. But I think in the back of your guys' mind, even the division, you're like, they're going to be there. They are. It might not be the same as they've been there before. And Terang's a great second baseman as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there are some pieces there. And then Hopkins is there. Hoskins is there as well, who's had playoff experience, and Contreras is a great catcher for them too. So I just think they're. I just think there's I think as we had this conversation, we kind of left out the champs as well. That's the 2-time of this division, and we'll see where they make the. I still got them winning it. Josh, where do you see? Who do you have win the division?
So Tyler actually said something that I forgot about with the Brewers. I forgot about Devin Williamson getting traded.
Yeah,
Pete Alonso.
Totally forgot about that. So I'm going to change, and I'm going to say I think the Cubs will get it this year.
Pressing. Right.
I think the Brew Crew and the Reds are probably going to be a game separated for second. And I'm going to say I'm going to homer here and go the Cardinals are going to come in fourth with 70 wins. And then the Pirates are going to be fifth with 69 wins.
That sounds about right.
Is it possible that Skeens alone can outwin the Cardinals? Is it possible? Have we wrote that off completely?
When he gets to 105 innings.
If you remember, we were the first team to beat
him down.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just fucking. But it's gonna be interesting, guys. I mean, let me ask you about this. How are you guys gonna feel when Torino? Big sophomore slump, guys. Big sophomore slump, and then the Reds overtake them. I got to root for people's downfall. That's the only way we can move up.
Like I said, I've always had a soft spot for the Reds. So, you guys and the Reds, it's not going to offend me in any way. I've always had a little bit of a soft spot.
Most decent people there do have a soft spot. Most decent human beings have a soft spot for the Reds.
Okay.
Damn you.
Don't let him lie to you,
Okay.
Because he was on the Pirates bandwagon last year, and he was talking about switching to the Pirates because the A's were moving to Sacramento.
The Pirates and Reds, I played for both little league teams out here, Josh. They both have wonderful hats. They have wonderful hats. I'm a fan of both.
He likes the single letter hat.
And the best thing about Cincinnati ball games, besides you guys have a beautiful ballpark, there's not a bad seat in the house. I tell everybody this: the ticket prices are cheap because the Reds are bad. And it's a great. You can't find a bad seat in the house. Everybody who works there's awesome, even when the team's horrible. But the best thing about Cincinnati baseball is Skyline Coney dogs at the ballpark.
That's spoken like a real American. No, I went there last time. I went to the game. I had 6 Conies. It was
That's
awesome.
expensive there.
I was there to enjoy the night.
I understand.
It was a long night. I had a great
real
time.
American.
At least he wasn't there to enjoy the ladies of the night. We
They're out front of the stadium. They're out front of the stadium if you need them.
First time I ever saw one, I think I was 13 out there at the game. And I was
God,
like, what's she
I
doing?
haven't had enough drinks for this.
What are we talking about here? What is this?
Ladies of the
night at the baseball park.
No idea.
They don't have that in San Francisco.
Tyler, you can DM me, Tyler. I'll explain it to you in detail.
I'm surprised you guys don't have more of that out in San Francisco.
Oh, we definitely do at Applebee's. We got that.
It's day to day in San Francisco.
They got to put out those fires first.
Gotta put those out there. So, all right. So we got the division there with it, NL Central. I don't want to go deep dive. Just real quick here. Is De La Cruz the best player of the division? Is it Skeens? Is it Skeens or De La Cruz? Is it?
It's Kyle Tucker to me.
Kyle Tucker. All right. I don't.
Well,
I think it's.
I think it's Skeens, but that's just me.
Yeah, I would go Skeens too. I mean,
he's the best pitcher. He's not the best player. He don't do nothing but throw the ball.
Well, that's a
Pitchers
good.
cannot be the best player in baseball.
The Pirates have got to let him go 2 ways. The Pirates have got to let him go both ways. If they want to be competitive.
Yeah, he was great at Air Force as a hitter.
I trust it. I believe it.
Let him do it.
He was great at Air Force.
He was great at Air Force.
Was that underhand pitch? LaFleur McGee. Shout out Rookie of the Year. All right, so NL Central there with it. First baseman here, best first baseman in baseball. We did this name has not come up yet, and I'm expecting it to maybe come up to this show involving the Reds. No Spencer Steer talk so far as a Reds as we got our Reds guys. Hunter's
now
the
that
number
guy's
one.
Underrated. That guy's legitimately underrated. That guy's.
What did I tell you? Player. I told you guys this 2 weeks ago or last week. I took Spencer Steer in one of our drafts because he plays a bunch of different positions, and I told you he's one of the better players.
Great utility player.
He's awesome. He's the second best utility baseball player in baseball, next to Brendan Donovan.
Breaking news. Yeah, Doug has a
he's
jersey of him.
great.
Doug has a jersey. I've
Oh,
seen
it's-
it, right?
it's my
I heard
favorite
there's
jersey.
only Sears.
It's my favorite jersey.
You got to have a jersey with him. All right. So if I say best first baseman in baseball right now, we'll go 10, maybe 12. I'll give you some names with it. Jordan, who? If I said first baseman, is it Freddie Freeman? Is it Matt Olson? Is it Vladdy? Is it Pistol Pete? Is it Bryce Harper? Who would you take as the number one pick in first baseman?
Probably Freddie Freeman. Just outside looking in.
I had him 1-2.
You had him 1-2?
Yeah,
all right,
no doubt.
all right. There we go.
No doubt.
Bringing back some gridiron magic here. I dig it. So
Is Jimmy
that's gonna be
running
my answer. I'm
a
locking
gridiron
in.
show right now?
He was
Yes.
before. He's doing Eagles. I'm
What
doing.
are we doing here?
I'm doing Chiefs. He's at a wrestling tournament all weekend, so we have to adjust. Monday will be.
Competing via Sid shows, guys.
Well, that's all right. We got Eagles.
You watch one and then you tune into the other.
He was done before our show. You got to respect the grind there. I think I just tried. I think he previewed a little Phillies for us too as well.
Oh, I like
we
that.
got into it. No, a Rockies fan previewing. All right, so you got Freddie Freeman, Jordan, the Grand Slam, her around the world off big nester there coming in. Yeah, you haven't pitched in 50 weeks. Let's throw you in there. Just whatever.
It's an insane decision.
I have no issues.
Choices.
I have no issues with Frederick in the mix here as number one. Doug, number two.
Can I ask you guys a quick question about?
No,
Yes.
you can't.
Before
Yes,
we
you
move?
can.
Is there
No,
a
mute this man's mic.
Hey,
What's up,
At
Lee?
least
I
we're
love
on the
you, sir.
right side of the screen on this.
What's the Freddie Freeman question?
Is he the most? I think if I wanted one at bat, and I've said this for 2 years now, if I would need a one at bat and I want somebody up to bat, I would take Freddie Freeman. He's gonna not swing at balls and he's gonna hit the shit out of the ball. It might go at someone. He's not gonna have like 60 home runs or 50 home runs, but he's gonna hit it all over the field. You can't play him any certain way. But that's me trying to convince you. But I'd take Freddie Freeman in one single at bat. Anyone else on board on that?
I've always said Jose Altuve.
If all you need is a single, you take Freddie Freeman.
I need a hit.
I need to lose to rise.
I've took Altuve over the years. Over the last decade, that's been the guy I've always
Altuve
said.
would be
You're
another
taking
one for me.
Luis Arraez. He hasn't even been in any clutch situation.
So you're saying
dude's hit the best
based on-
average.
The most clutch, the person
Like
you
a
wanna
guy
put
on
out?
second base who's going to get a hit, basically. That's kind
Okay,
of,
so I need to
yeah.
hit for a run to win. Okay, that's different. That's a different story. I just need to hit.
Freeman's definitely top on this first baseman list. I know that. That's what I go with. Like I said, I go Altuve a lot of the time. Soto might.
Well,
get
as long as
right-
he's not wearing that little monitor, right?
Well, the monitor helps.
I was gonna say that if that probably helps in that
probably
situation.
helps,
You're
yeah,
right.
no, I would take him.
You guys really have Freeman first, huh?
I
I
have
have-
Freeman.
I had Freeman first, no doubt about
Okay,
it.
does anybody not have Freeman first?
I've
Well,
got
let's go.
Frank Thomas.
Frank, the lefty version, are right there. Josh, let's go. You number two then. Who do you got number two? Let's see who your.
I have
first pick
Freeman
was.
too.
Who's your first pick? You got
Who's
the
off
second
the
pick.
board?
Harper, number one. All right.
Thanks.
So, yeah.
Harper. Good
I'm
player.
not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Harper one or Harper number one on your list. I mean, he's only when he's right, he is one of the best hitters in all of baseball. Freeman's more of that contact that maybe Tyler's kind of talking about with some of those things, better hitter versus lefties and those type of deals as well. Doug,
Harper's more fun though. I like Harper for those reasons. He's just a fun guy to watch play baseball.
does he remind you of a basketball kind of guy with some of his antics? With,
Like a Ty Jerome.
Yeah, he just exactly.
Only if Kenny Atkinson.
This
Ty
guy.
Jerome.
No, I do. I
Shout out
like Bryce.
Virginia.
I like Bryce Harper's energy. I just feel like he enjoys playing baseball, and that's just always that kind of energy that I enjoy. So, not that Freddie Freeman doesn't enjoy playing baseball. I don't know. There's more something to Bryce Harper for me. That doesn't mean he's a better baseball player. I'm just talking energy, that kind of stuff.
I think that Angel Hernandez helped you out a little
Oh,
bit.
boy, I love
a
a
Angel.
good
I think that helped you out a little bit. That. Who do you got three then? Who do you got three then, Doug?
Give me Vlad Jr.
Vladdy.
I mean, it just it's that's another fun guy to play. I'm to watch play baseball. You never know what's going to happen. He's got a little bit of his dad in him in those type ways. Follow up the MVP caliber season. We'll see how it goes.
Vladdy, one of the free agents next year as well. So that's
I mean,
obviously big news.
Wait till that guy's playing in Cincinnati. I mean,
Well, let's not get ridiculous. Does
Oh.
he have if
It'd be horrible for him.
Vladdy Senior would have played there, you guys had track record of that, but we don't have that type of track record. with these
Unfortunately.
Reds with that. Tyler, who do you go for then?
I guess I got to go Stinky Pete Alonso.
Oh.
He's hitting 40 home runs. The defense isn't great. I'm not a big Matt Olson guy. I think he had a one-off year where he hit for a high average and hit 50 jacks. I don't believe in that. Pete's going to give you what you expect. The defense is good, not great, but just give me the 40 home runs every year.
so
I had Matt Olson number 3. I mean, as you know me, I've obviously had my complaints about Matt Olson when he was on the A's. When he was on the A's, I had my issues with sliders away.
I think it's you don't watch him as often now that you're.
Well, I mean, when you still hit 50 and 40 bombs, you show that capability. And you brought up a glove. Matt Olson's maybe the best first baseman defensively. He's one of the best defensively there with it. So I go Matt Olson number 3. And yes, maybe a little shout out to the Oakland A's days as well. Jordan, back to you. At 6, you got some guys there like Christian Walker, Wilson Contreras from the Cardinals still in there, Yandy Diaz. Maybe your boy from Cincinnati. Are you going him as well? What do you got number 6 if you take first baseman there?
I'd have to probably go with Josh Naylor.
Ooh.
So. Is that a bad pick? Did I mess it up?
Vladdy,
No, I didn't have him that high, but I mean, it's a good one.
I don't know if he's top
mind
10, but he's in the top discussion, I would say.
I think he's top
I'm
10.
just here to shake it up.
I like
I had him number 9, so or number. I had him between 9 and 12, so I'm not kind of right there. Daily walk-off. Vladdy lasted number 3. Frederick grand slam. Mr. Harper, tough to put ahead of that as well. We're gonna get to the walk-off here in a little bit with it. So all right, so you go back to Naylor. Tyler, that leaves a couple good players there. Or Josh, that leaves a couple good players available. Who you got?
Christian Walker.
All right, so you go Walker right there. All right.
Well, that was my pick.
Well,
a bummer.
my pick.
That dude's so consistent. That dude feels like
No,
he's
I was
just.
gonna put Walker at 6.
Goes to the
That dude just feels
Astros
like he's
this
so
year.
consistent.
Goes to the Astros this year, obviously, in
We'll see how he does
Yeah,
down
so-
there with the cheaters.
the signing there. He's an older guy, that 3-year deal, kind of a weird deal. Obviously, great defender as well. One of my favorite plays last year, laying down, holding the first base, diving to the ground. So that goes then to you, Doug. Who do you got?
Give me Vinny P from Kansas City.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's my boy.
That's my
Give
boy
me
Blue.
Vinny P.
That's my boy Blue. That's my guy. Vinny P. I like it. I'm definitely not saying his last name, so I'm going to allow somebody else to. If they want
Pascatino.
there, that boy Josh. There you
Yeah,
go.
I don't want to butcher it. I don't want to butcher it with people.
I got to cover all the hard names for Darren.
There's got to cover all that one. Yeah, when
Hey,
we say
can you say Shota's name yet?
nope, but I could say Dick. I could say Dick. I can say that.
Say it with me. Shota Emenaga.
Yes, I can say Imadaga. That one took me.
That's a great name.
Took me till August 1st, but I got it done at some point there with it. All right, so Doug, you got there. That's a good pick. Tyler, who do you go?
Let me go to a return to form type season for this time. I'm going to go Paul Goldschmidt. He goes to the Yankees.
Oh.
Get to play in that little
The Goldie.
tiny ballpark. We've talked about defense a little before. As good as anybody at the defensive side of the ball. And I expect playing in New York, batting behind the likes of Aaron Judge will definitely help those numbers. So I'll take Paul Goldschmidt at this point.
There was it was interesting because Wilson Contreras, obviously playing catcher last year, going to be playing first this year as for the Cardinals. Yandy Diaz, I'm not sure. Andrew Vaughn, Tyler, do we go Andrew Vaughn out there at that as well? So we're not sure if we go him. I am going to go just with the move. I think Wilson Contreras is still probably got to be top 10 first baseman at some point. And the guy can still hit.
Hold on.
What?
Would you take him over? Would you take him over Diaz?
No,
Yeah, I would.
not in a million.
I'm not.
years.
I'm not a big Diaz guy. He had that one year. Last year was not a good season for him.
Okay.
I'm just not as big a Diaz guy. I think maybe that's where I come from. I'm not like this. I'm not a Yandy. Like I said, like he had a good year for me. 1 year in fantasy baseball, I like it, but I'm not. I'm going to take Contreras as the better player. That's just where I would lie at the end of the day. So, Josh, you obviously disagree. You going Burger? You going Bush, Santana,
I'd take Berger, Bush, Cassis. I'd take all of them over Contreras.
Wow.
Diaz, all of them. I think this is the dumbest move the Cardinals can make. The dude couldn't play defense behind the plate. I don't know how he's going to be able to stretch and move to catch 104-mile-an-hour balls across the diamond from Mason Wynn. If Nolan Arenado gets traded, Gorman's going to be at third. He hasn't played third in 3 or 4 years. I don't know what his throws to first base are going to be like. I don't think Contreras is going to do good at first. I don't think he's got the agility, the stretch, and the ability to do the job. His bat is deadly.
Is there anything?
I'd rather have him as a DH.
If he's a
Is there
first
anything
baseman,
he
just
can
hit.
do?
He can hit. That's what he can do, Doug. He can hit.
This, and this.
I don't care if you play defense at first base. Hit 30 home runs and hit 100 RBIs.
So you don't
That's
think
his job.
the defense matters at all?
I mean, of course it matters. You can't be like an oven mitt over there, but you got to at least be able to, like, I'm just saying it's first base. I mean, pick a few balls. I mean, Carlos Santana made the move. I could have picked
That's
him
right.
over there. I mean, usually a guy that can play catcher can scoop a ball at first. I'm just saying you should be able to adjust to that if you have any talent. Josh,
Did you
the
ever
man
see
can
Wilson
hit.
actually scoop a pitch behind the plate?
Fair enough.
Okay, remember,
I'll
what is
give
the
you
one
that.
position I pay most attention to?
Catcher, yes.
Catchers. The dude is trash.
All right.
Great hitter.
Quick,
Ooh.
I'm sorry to derail, Josh. Do you think, how do you feel about Stevenson and Trevino as the two catcher options for the Reds this year?
I'm not mad about it. I think
Stevenson's
got
gotten
potential.
better,
Trevino's
right?
got experience. I think it's a good setup for a transition year for you guys. I think if you guys really want to take the next step, you're going to have to go get a better catcher who's going to be a field player.
Oh, but who's that guy though? That's the problem. I mean, Stevenson's a solid bat. Obviously not the greatest defensive catcher. Trevino, veteran like you said, but I don't. There's only a handful of catchers I really think that take you to the next level. Do you think one of those guys are really available?
Available? No. Cincinnati will have to make a move to achieve that goal.
So you're talking you go all in, which the Reds refuse to do.
Right. Or just it's their big move next offseason. Maybe they just go get a good catcher. Because here's why I think Cincinnati needs a catcher. And it's because of the young arms of the pitching staff. So that when they get wound up, he can go out there, hey, calm down, throw your stuff, you and me, let's play catch, and maintain the game, and then be that extra coach on the field. I think that's
I don't see that
super
for Stevenson,
important
but
with
I
young
see him.
pitchers.
I see him as a talented player. I just don't see him like what you're talking about. So that makes sense. Okay, we can get back to first base, guys. I just wanted to derail us for a minute.
Well, Stevenson, obviously, he had a good year a couple of years ago and then kind of derailed. So the bat's there.
Last year, he got back to last year.
Some names we left off: Berger, Bush, like I said, Santana, Cronenworth. Some guys that maybe you leave off at first base as well. So looking at that with first baseman, obviously one of the more you said some people think Vladdy's number one. It's kind of you have some. I'd say the top four. You had Pete Alonso if he has a good year. That top five is a pretty legit top five at the first base position in terms of what they can do. So, all right, that's our first base draft here. Let's get the dynamite. All right, shout out to great Peter Cammons here. Diamond notes so that you guys add whatever you got to it. This is just some of the headlines I saw from the week. Obviously, we just talked about first baseman Alonso does resign with the Mets yesterday in a deal. Gives the Mets, man, what a good deal for them in my opinion. 1 year. Who cares if you're going to opt next year? You got a motivated player. That's kind of the way I look at it with them. And I'm just kind of perplexed. Other teams did not make a bigger run at him. Just looking at stats, umpire Pat Holberg gets fired by MLB for sharing sports gambling accounts with a friend who bet on baseball. Blue Jays signed Mad Max as well. You got some owners maybe saying that they might set a salary cap in 2026. Some other like little small moves around the MLB as well. Tyler, what catches your attention there?
I mean, for me, it's the guy chosen the first baseman draft, Pete Alonso. Like, how does a guy who hit 40 home runs? I don't care if you're hitting like 233. Obviously, that can be frustrating at times. But do you see guys getting paid or doing less than this? And Alonso only gets a 1 year with a 1 year opt out for $54 million. I don't know. Baseball sense doesn't make sense to me. Who gets paid? Who doesn't? It seems strange. Good for the Mets. I hope he outperforms his contract and they have to do this all over again next year because that's where it's probably headed. So I don't like that. Seems crazy to me.
What do you think, Josh? Is the umpire thing for you?
Well, it was until the news broke this afternoon that the owners are talking about holding out for a salary cap and we'll do no baseball in 2026.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
They're already threatening it. They want a cap. That means they also know that they're going to have a floor. And I had a good friend of the show message me because I sent it to him, and he made a really good point. Josh Lewis, if you guys were curious, It's not Logan this time. He made a great point. I kind of agree with it.
You said it was a good point. I wouldn't expect
Logan doesn't make good points. There you go.
He's not even here. You get bashed on him when he's not here.
Sorry. I hope
that's you. I was gonna be mad. But no, I get rid of the revenue sharing. Put in a floor, put in a cap, and I say shut the MLB down until I make that happen.
I don't think we can have the MLB of the lockout right now, Jordan. Does not seem like the best move from a business side for them. Maybe what do you think of that? What do you got maybe for me, Diamond Notes or anything else you've kind of heard around MLB this week? Jordan frozen there on me? Yeah, I got him.
Oh, no. I can. You said my name and you said another name, so I didn't know.
There you go. To you, sir. To you. Okay.
No, that pretty much really caps it up for the big news. Especially about the gambling and things of that nature. It's such a part of. I mean, it's always been a part of sports, but with it being legal in so many states, it's kind of dug in. So I kind of hope both parties can find a minus. If you're in the system, just don't fucking do it. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Don't let
your friend do it.
Let's just be simple about it. If you're getting paid by the organization, don't be a part of it. It's no different than any other workplace that gives you rules. If you're in the military, don't do drugs, don't drink and drive, shit like that. If you're the face of a team, don't be an effing idiot. If you're an umpire, don't fucking bet. I mean,
don't give your friend an account.
Are you saying it's okay to drink and drive if you're not in the military? Is that what you're endorsing tonight? Did I get that part correctly?
Hey,
that's the only part I took from that.
Hey, don't put words in my mouth, Douglas.
Sorry, all right, misheard you.
That's hilarious.
No, I mean, you guys are recapping some of the bigger things, so I really have nothing to add to it besides Doug being a smart ass. But that's normal. That's normal. But
you guys have been doing a show for almost 2 hours now, basically, if you combine it. So there's a little smart ass there with it. Doug, what do you think? Mad Max does side with the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays just desperate to give money away at this point.
Yeah, at this point they're just trying to do whatever. But I'm more worried about Ohtani's interpreter. I think 57 months. This guy's just the name on the account. This is unfortunate news. As much as I love watching Ohtani play, this guy is a gambling addict. But I love it. I'm also a gambling addict. I just don't have the millions and millions to support it. But man, to see him be the ultimate fall guy, and now he has to pay back some of that money. Boy, tough day for that guy. All
that's going to happen is Shohei's going to loan him the $17 million, and then he's just going to home write a check for $17 million.
Gosh, I hope it's already in the account. I hope we're not. I know there's no reason for Shohei not to do this. You're the one betting. You're the one doing this. Just come on, man. Just pay it up and let's move on.
Tyler, what
greatest ball guy since Greg Anderson?
Yeah, Greg Anderson. That was the guy that did it for bonds on that side, the steroid guy. I would
trust that guy with anything.
To go to jail for somebody, man, what an effort, what a passion there with it.
Good guy, solid
guy there with it. All right, so that
he was taking care of the rest of his life. His grandkids and his grandkids' kids.
He's taking care of everybody at that point. So all right, so that's our Diamond Notes with it. All right. Let's get to it. The daily walk-off here I have with this. We'll go Reds here with it. So basically you got mainly played starting pitcher, mainly played shortstop, mainly played second base, mainly played center field. Right now we got, I would say, guys, De La Cruz obviously is shortstop for Sonny Gray.
Well, that'll change in a couple years.
Cincinnati
Orlando Cabrera would be the shortstop also, mainly played shortstop.
All right, so we get him for Griffey. All right.
Felipe Lopez mainly played shortstop.
Andrew Abbott can go to pitcher.
Andrew Abbott's pitcher. Sonny Gray's pitcher. Wade Miley can stay there.
All right. So
Jonathan India to second base.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And then
for Reggie Taylor or Mario Duncan.
Oh boy, I'm willing to.
I'm guessing Duncan. No, I'm guessing Reggie Taylor.
Reggie Taylor's where I would go. That looks correct to me.
Jordan, do you have any concerns with this as a Reds?
Wait, Josh, what do you got?
Go ahead, Josh.
No, I said swing. I think it looks good too.
Okay. No, I'm gonna lock it in, Darren. I'm gonna lock it in.
All right, let's see what the boys got from Cincinnati here. Yes, we are good.
Was there ever a doubt? Daily walk-off. Is this a challenge, or is this what we're doing here?
All right, now give them a team they don't know.
All right, let's see
Give
if
me
we get
Baltimore.
it. Let's see if
Albert Bell.
We'll go in division. Let's see if they go Pittsburgh Pirates here.
That's easy.
Oh boy, AJ Burnett, mainly pitcher. Tony Womack was second base. Move him over. Harrison played. Kenny Lofton obviously played center. We all know that.
Where's Harrison?
Basketball player.
Where's Harrison at?
Was Worley?
Josh Harrison is second, right?
Well, he's definitely
Charlie Morton's a pitcher.
Yeah.
What is 2008
Frazier.
you made?
Frazier was center.
What?
Frazier was center. Josh said
That 2008 debut. What's that mean?
I mean, that's when he started.
it's been 16 years. Jeez.
Chris Brian Reynolds obviously is not shortstop. He's center field.
No, but he can't take Kenny Lofton off. It's
Vance
Frazier's in the
Worley's
outfield
starting
over.
pitcher.
Yeah.
For who? Barmes.
Clint Barnes.
Barmes is a shortstop, right?
I thought
Yeah,
so.
Kevin
Is it?
Newman.
For who?
Newman?
For
Duffy.
Newman?
I don't
Oh,
know
this
those
one's
two
getting
guys.
me.
I think Chris
Yeah,
Duffy.
I think that's right.
We go there with it.
Let's swing at it.
Should we swing at it here? I think.
Frazier was second.
Oh, there we go.
boy.
On fire.
The boys are buzzing right now.
We are good. We're on fire with it.
Give us the White Sox. It'll be Frank Thomas all the way down.
Give it the White Sox with it.
I love
Big
Frank
Hurt.
Thomas. Sorry, guys. I love Frank Thomas. The commercials mean something to me.
Yeah.
Hey, Big Hurt. We all love Big Hurt.
Did you have their shoes and cleats? Did you have his shoes and
I
cleats?
name all my fantasy baseball teams after Frank Thomas. I mean, but that's just me.
That's good. Everything's named after Big Frank.
That or Raul Mondesi. Those are my guys. So
Raul.
Cannon out in right field.
What an arm. What a stud that he had. All right. So that was good with that walk off. Appreciate that. We're gonna have him on in a couple weeks to be able to kind of get his
show for you guys.
Yeah, I'm curious where how he came up with that idea. Obviously, making a game show is not the easiest thing in the world, and to do it every day is definitely not one of the easiest
He
things.
took the immaculate grid and made it more fun.
In some ways, yeah. Before I get to trivia, just add a real quick note here. Baseball Bonanza. Jordan, favorite highlight of all time? Do you have one that sticks to your mind immediately? It doesn't have to be your team. It could be anything.
He's muted.
Oh, he's muted. Is he? Is unmuted? I don't think.
Get him off the show. This guy's holding us up. Get him off the show.
Unbelievable.
Just because you can hear us doesn't mean we care about what you're saying, bud.
What is
Keep
Ohio?
it moving.
How do we do this at Ohio Sports Talk? How are you still on the air, Doug? How are you still on the
Private
air?
chat.
Now go, Jordan.
Why am I muted?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you
Can you hear me now?
Now we can, yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
The government's trying to mute my mic. Elon Musk got it again. But
I don't think he's worried about us, man.
No, unfortunately, we're not on the radar.
On the radar. What do you got?
Man, it's got to be one of the when King Griffey Jr. came back from injury his second year with the team and hit a grand slam off a DH. I want to say against the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's got to be around 2000.
That makes sense.
It's been a while.
I mean, if you want to go most recently, Reese Hines when he tore it up for like 4 games straight.
The
Hit
best
like
week
20 I think it was like 26 RBIs in 5 games. It was unbelievable.
My favorite
Best
tweet
week
during
ever.
that time was Doug was like, "I'm gonna buy that jersey."
I've got
I went,
the jersey.
He did!
I did buy it. All
He
right.
did.
God bless you,
Total
man.
mistake.
You gotta-
Total mistake. Can't wait to learn to the
ruined
ball. Can't wait to learn to the ballpark this year. People are gonna be like, "Who is that?"
The fact
You don't
that I
remember the best
that,
week
man.
ever?
I just
No,
remember
it's
you like
good.
randomly seeing your tweet, like I'm buying this jersey.
No, you have to. You have to.
Doug,
He was hot as-
don't
hot
do
as could
it.
be.
Don't
He was
do
hot as
it.
could be.
Darren, there were drinking games and shot games for every time he scored an RBI that week. It was insane.
That's like Tyler getting a Lamont Wade jersey. I'd be like, "You
I
idiot!"
do not
What are we
have a
doing?
Lamont Wade.
Lamont
I
Wade.
do have a
Oh.
Malik Mustafa Nider jersey, which could go on that track real
I
quick.
could go on that as well. Doug, what's your favorite baseball highlight of all time?
Oh boy.
Or just
The
think
first
about
one that comes to mind is honestly that the I don't know why, probably because of he was on the cover of which year was it? But the Jim Edmonds catch over the shoulder, the full extension, that catch just sticks with me. And then the King Griffey Jr. one where he scaled the wall and robbed the home run when he was in Seattle. I can't remember who was hitting, but I always like those full extension or robbing a home run type plays. I always really enjoyed that. So the Jim Edmonds one is what usually pops into my mind when I'm thinking just pure highlight defensively is the Jim Edmonds catch.
Tyler, outside of Jose Cruz Jr. dropping a ball with Florida, which one which one sticks out?
Hey, I've got three World Series.
Oh, I have one that might involve the Reds.
We have Ishikawa's home run. We got Bosey's home run against the Reds. Brian Wilson strikeout of Nelson Cruz. But if I'm going individual highlight, it's the Kenny Lofton robbery at Jacobs Field. What a unbelievable catch! It's the most it's how you draw up a center fielder robbing a home run, and it was amazing. And Kenny Lofton has a special place in my heart as a Giant for a half a year and as a Arizona Wildcat.
Yes, I knew we were gonna get it. Not a Dayton Flyer, of course. We got Arizona. That we had Arizona. I knew that was.
To be fair, the Dayton Flyers have put more people in the MLB recently than the Arizona Wildcats. So.
I like this one. Pedro throwing Zimmer. This is not a bad one. This is not Aaron. Cool. Aaron, I respect that one.
Great takedown.
Josh,
Mike Piazza versus Roger Clemens was good.
Piazza.
I have too many, so I'm just gonna give you guys a quick list. First one is Randy Johnson killing the bird.
Great play.
Yeah. Luis Gonzalez's walk off to win the 0-1 World Series.
Great.
Pujols' moonshot against Houston in 2005. The closeout of the 11 World Series, the fight in Cincinnati between Yachty and Brandon Phillips. I got memories galore for baseball. So
is that the one where LaRue got kicked in the face?
Well, what's your favorite one?
No, that's the one where Yachty got kicked in the chest by Phillips. That's the one I'm talking about.
There's a lot. We all have a.
Love to hear that.
Josh, we all have a lot. What's the favorite
though? Randy Johnson smoking a bird.
All right,
it doesn't get better than that. He killed a bird with a ball, and then he makes a joke that he doesn't need a gun in his house. He just keeps a bag of balls by the bed. If anybody walks into his house in the middle of the night, he's going to take their head off.
That would be frightening.
Doug, yours was number 3 on my list. That Edmonds one and does ring very heavy in the number 3 on there. For me, it's always one of my first baseball memories ever is 1992, I believe.
Home run.
Nope, the Sid Bream slide against the Sea. I just remember my parents this is a big game. They would up late here and 9 o'clock. So we're up watching the game and here comes Sid Bream stealing, sliding in late. I don't even know who the Pirates really were. All those teams, that one just always will be in my mind. Number 1, the Edmonds was there, and then a big one for me also was the Aaron Boone one. Believe it or not, against
Aaron Boone.
Those playoffs, and then number 2 is not even a play; it's a foul ball. The guy in the Cubs. That play will always. Moises Alou throwing it down the cup. Bartman.
You said highlight.
I know. I'm just joking. That was on there as well. That was on there as well. There are the rights one-hander against the ball. There's so many good plays you could choose from. We all know this, but there's just ones that obviously stick in your own mind with that stuff too. That matter more than others, or you saw it more than others. Can
I give you one of my favorite games in history?
Yeah, let's give it.
Because I'm curious if one of you guys were at the game, the Ohio boys. It was Mother's Day, early 2000s. The Reds went up 8-0 in the first inning and ended up losing the game 10-8.
Against who?
The Cardinals against the Reds.
That's what I figured. It was the Cardinals.
Was that one
no.
Let me remind you of this game.
No, he did not. He had one. He didn't have 3.
I remember a Mother's Day game and him having 3. Yeah, I probably tuned that one off.
I was sitting down third base line.
Blocked a lot of those games out of my memory.
Too many hits in the head in the Marine Corps. I probably brain dumped it.
Brain did that one. Jordan, a good answer. No.
Another one of my favorites was Posey getting run over because he wasn't a real catcher while he was trying to block the plate.
Starting this stuff. That sounds like our catcher episode.
It's getting late early here.
That's getting late there. We're only 8:13 here, but obviously we're almost at midnight here.
Something we'll always have over the Cardinals is that Jerry Nairn had a winning record against you guys the 1 year that he was an interim manager for the Reds. So F off 2005. Bring it back.
Jerry Nairn. I never thought I would hear that name in my lifetime again. Jordan,
I'm
thank
here
you
to
for
bring
that.
it back, Darren.
All right, well, let me test you with some MLB trivia. As Doug knows, I used to do this on NBA, our little show there. Shout out Fast Break. Go to here, VSN. Double, rest in peace. We love you. We got the MLB trivia here with it. All right. Here we go. Hint number one. I played 14 seasons from 1992 to 2005, hitting 252 career home runs. I won a Gold Glove with the Reds in 1998.
Ooh, Gold Glove in 98. Okay. Any guesses, McGurk? Edwards?
I got a guess, but I want to see the next hint.
All right, hit number two. Hit number two here. I made 3 All-Star teams, won 4 Gold Gloves and 2 Silver Sluggers. I also finished 3rd in the AL MVP voting in 2001.
Interesting.
Well, there goes
2001.
AL.
I was gonna say Sean Casey, but
won it that
did this guy?
I don't even know that timeline right.
Did this guy play for a West Coast team with Ken Griffey Jr.?
I don't believe he did.
So it's not Brett Boone.
It is baby Brett, dude. I don't remember him playing.
They didn't play together in Seattle.
I think maybe in the first. I think the first part of his career he did. I think 92.
They didn't play together in Seattle.
I think at the beginning they did 92, 93. Then he got traded to the Reds early on in his career. He said he also played for the. No, I think you're right because he played for the Mariners at the beginning, and then he went to the Reds, and then he went back to the Mariners. So he probably did play with Ken Griffey.
Because on Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, I could have swore Brett Boone's the second baseman.
I'm not going to question your Slugfest knowledge. I'm not here to do that with you. I got you, Brett.
Baby
Brett
never played with
Edgar Martinez was holding down third base. John Olerud was holding down first base. I mean, I'm pretty positive Brett Boone was my second.
He was not after them when he went to the Mariners. That I know for sure. I was thinking maybe before it. I'm thinking before it, 92.
Even before they did not. I know.
92.
Yeah, Brett Boone played for them in 2001, 2002, 2000. Yeah, they had to play together.
No, Griffey was gone in 99.
Was he?
Yeah.
Then A-Rod went shortly in 2000.
Well, I believe in you guys.
I believe it. So Brett Boone was the answer. Hit number 3 with it. He did it. I always remember Brett Boone for obviously some of the roid stuff with it. He was a big Reds guy at the point as well with you guys.
He's a good player.
He was a solid player with it. The Mariners had kind of brought him back. So well done, Douglas. Got the answer there with your thing. All right, it's flashback time.
What a ride! The Cardinals are world champs in 2011.
Be a long time before I hear that again.
Well,
I mean, why would we waste the audio there?
No Bill King available. I've been trying to get Brandon to do Bill King. I know he understands that.
He's not changing it. That's all I got.
I'm not changing the audio.
Holy Toledo. Boys,
I like good luck, guys.
I appreciate Jordan and Doug. Before we kind of call it a show here, we are in the bottom of the ninth here. As we get to the flashback here, always appreciate you guys joining us. Always have mad respect for you guys. Thank you for taking the time out of your evening. What is it? 11:07 their time, basically. Who cares? 8:07 out here. Nothing. No big deal out here. 5 time. I mean, it'd be 6:07 in Hawaii. It's not even that late, gentlemen. So suck it up here. Here we go. So here we go. A little love as we get off the show. One of my favorite Reds of all time. We get the big Adam here. Bases loaded. Extra innings. Versus Mr. Bradledge. Here we go.
Look at Griffey warming up behind him. Gorgeous.
Look at that fat son of a gun.
Look at that dip in his flip.
Yes, he rips it. Is it high enough? It's going to be.
That wasn't Bradley.
Adam Dunn has done it again.
No, that was not Bradley.
Yeah,
Big number 44 can take all day to round the bases here. That's
look at Chief Oahu. I miss the Indians longer.
Dunner. They're waiting for you at home.
Look at Bronson Arroyo.
Great call. Yes, not Bradledge. I had it confused with a different one he had. That was Heath Bell. I think it was Heath Bell, I believe.
Look at Hattenberg. Look at Hattenberg on a real
Griffey,
team.
add Austin Kearns in there, Mr.
LaRue.
God,
that's a squad. That is a squad, boys. They probably won 70 games.
I can't wait to get Arroyo back on. Damn.
You guys had a good. I mean, Adam Dunn is obviously one of the first Reds I think a lot of people think of 2000 on and stuff like that. Played for the A's in his very last 2 months of his career.
You think of that squad: Adam Dunn, Austin Kearns, Willie Mopena. Like
that was a good roster that underperformed.
No one pimped a home run like Willie Mopena.
A fastball, not no other pitch though, only a fastball.
He won a ring over in the Red Sox nation. So.
How loved is Adam Dunn in Cincinnati for the new generation? For like your guys' era, he was one of the guys, right? He was. I mean, whether you hated him or not, he strike out a lot. Kind of felt like Joey Gallo before Joey Gallo on a better version. He had the 452 home runs. People talk about that. Reds Nation, obviously, everybody loves Barry Larkin and all those guys.
I mean,
right?
How does Adam Dunn feel?
Yeah, he was
homegrown. We had the pleasure of watching him in Dayton for the Dayton Dragons before he made it to the Reds. So I mean, I followed Adam Dunn forever. I remember his debut over in Dayton when they first became a single A franchise and the stadium opened. He was on that season 1 team. I still have the poster signed by him.
Did they bring him back much, guys? Did they bring him back? Is he like feel?
I don't think he's that kind of guy. Okay. Like I don't think he cares like that.
Gotcha.
I think he's got some land in Texas and he just doesn't care.
Yeah,
which is fine. Yeah, that don't bother me.
But the Reds fans think of him as a guy like that, right?
More modern fans, I'm assuming, think of him as a strikeout machine who was not a great fielder. And if you recall, they started him out in the outfield. He was never built to play in the outfield. He should have always been a first baseman. No, Jordan. Nope. It's okay.
I disagree because
he was trash in the outfield, Jordan.
I watched him throw after throw after throw. He used to be a quarterback in
just because you have a big arm doesn't mean you're a good outfielder.
Hey, this is a football coach we're talking to here, Doug. You show some respect, damn it. You
show some damn respect.
Looks like I'm over there.
You guys want to know something? Alter competed for a state championship last year. Jordan's on the staff, and they're not even in the contention. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing here, guys?
Who do you coach at, Jordan?
What's that?
Who do you coach for?
Alter, Kettering Alter.
Where's that at?
Dayton, Ohio.
So I remember playing against like Mueller and X and Elder.
Yeah, we're in that league.
Okay, we played against all those schools when I was.
We're like CJ, Mueller, X, Winton Woods.
I was going to say it's a damn good division of football.
Ohio's got some of the best high school football in the country.
It does, Tyler.
Tyler was much a quarterback high school.
It's where Alter alumni Joe Thuney's going for his 5th ring this Sunday. So.
I remember going to one of Tyler's first games where he's like, I'm going to be the starting quarterback in high school, and I remember going to to be obviously this is Tyler's credit. He was quarterback for a few games in high school. Like that's not anybody doesn't just do that.
No, the coach. But
I remember going to the game and I remember his offensive line weighed like 140 pounds. And every play was like roll right, because he was gonna get murdered if it wasn't roll right. It was like, oh man, he did throw a touchdown, right?
I don't know. You'll never hear me.
I got to embarrass Tyler. I know he doesn't want to bring it up.
We went
all right, Tyler.
Tom Brady.
Let's watch the film. Let's get the film out. Let's break it down.
Break it down. That's a plus play.
That's a plus play.
You graded out really well.
I mean, we're still waiting on the basketball match. Darren and Tyler need to fly to Ohio and play us in some one-on-one.
And that one, you guys got no chance. You guys got no chance.
Take a vacation.
No, you take a vacation. You come out here and play in the north.
Tyler, instead of going to Disney, you come to Dayton, Ohio. It's a cheaper flight. It's a cheaper stay.
Go to Kings Island in Cincinnati.
Exactly. We'll take you to the amusement park. It might not be Disney, but you'll enjoy it.
You can introduce me to ladies' night.
Yeah, exactly.
Ladies of the night.
Oh, boy.
The local ladies of the night are a different story. They're good people, but they are a different story.
Hey, prices are going up in Cincinnati. Our VP's from there now, so let's get over here before it gets too pricey.
I get too pricey, the chili gets too much.
We have the worst government in all the world, and prices are still going up. So I don't know.
It's not going well.
We're not going there tonight.
No, Josh, we're not. For Brandon's sake, we'll help. We'll save him. We'll save him 20 minutes of editing.
I was talking about sports prices. Our prices are going up.
Doug,
I thought you meant home prices.
Doug, again,
I can't afford eggs, Darren.
Me and you have done the double. We've had the show on before. Oh, you gotta get those eggs, buddy. You gotta get 12 packs there.
Y'all need to buy chickens. If you
Yeah.
got your chickens, you wouldn't have to worry about no eggs.
I love chickens.
The bird
We all-
flu,
You
the
gotta
bird flu's
buy
killing us,
chicken
Darren.
food.
The bird
I love-
flu's killing us, Darren.
the bird
I'm
flu's
sorry.
killing.
Go ahead.
That's one of my favorite Saturday nights because we're gonna call buffalo wings this. Yeah, like so he's like going through it.
Nate Bargatze. Love
No,
him.
I appreciate you guys coming on. Obviously, I know
Yes.
you guys had the show on before. Jordan, obviously, talking to Grant, it's been hard to get on Sundays to meet up all the time with it, but I appreciate you kind of jumping on night with MLB. Hopefully, we can get you guys on during the season. Like we did last time.
I'm coming on a finale, Darren. I'm coming
All right,
on a finale.
You coming on Monday? All right, good. We're gonna do Monday night there with it. I'm glad this year you'll be on with that. Get your reaction to it. But as we talk strictly baseball, appreciate you guys' thoughts on the Reds, kind of insight on the division, and doing something different than just hitting the usual hot topics with the other sports. So appreciate you guys tuning on. I love what you guys do at Ohio Sports Talk. Always appreciate your guys' I guess that you're just it's not just kind of your support with that stuff. So always appreciate you guys kind of like always kind of being aware of that. Even Doug giving me examples of like, hey, get the timer. Just I appreciate your I appreciate your kind of your podcast stuff with that. I know you grind at it at times. Jordan, obviously, I mean, you have done many shows together as well. So I appreciate that many times. So, and then Tyler, of course. It's been a while.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. That Jimmy Butler trade we met last night. So we got that done as well.
It's over. I don't want to hear about it anymore. It's over.
We got the dream is dead with it. We got it. And then Josh Edwards. That's the intro we want to hear, baby. I love the spirit, love the energy. You know, pray. Hope you. I know you got a lot of family stuff going on, but I'm glad you're able to join us here tonight. Logan Stone. Don't be afraid, buddy. Just because Doug and Jordan here doesn't mean you can't show up. You can't even show up.
Has anybody done a better podcast from the front seat of their car than Logan Stone? I'd love to get
lights
a
on or lights off. That's
I prefer the lights on, but I prefer him that way. But I know he likes to have that light on.
Are you saying voice? I think he's saying a face for radio. That's what he's saying, a face for radio. That's Doug's comment. It's got to support with it. Boys, appreciate you though. Get to bed.
Thank you.
Midnight out there at your time. Josh Edwards, get you. We'll get next. We're going to be with you next week. And Elise, hopefully get CP on February 20th. Walk off. We'll be with them, kind of digging into that game a little bit. Boys, appreciate you doing the show tonight. Everybody, enjoy the Super Bowl. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.